Hello, tinnitus community. My name is Dr. Ben Thompson with Treble Health. In today's video, I will touch on an important subject, the 5 stages of grief, and how you can learn to master them to improve your habituation process with tinnitus. If you've developed ringing in the ears or you're going through a challenging spike of tinnitus, there's a psychological process that we all go through. And in this video, Dr. Michelle Neidleman-Kennedy and myself will discuss the 5 stages of grief and how you can master them to help with your tinnitus, ultimately making it easier to habituate and being affected by tinnitus less. Dr. Michelle, give us the backstory of why you came up with this topic and how it presents in some of the appointments that you're performing with Treble Health during your telehealth visits.
Absolutely. So after talking to almost every patient of mine who has had an onset of tinnitus, I've started to realize that many are experiencing very similar feelings as the ones that we typically have learned as the 5 stages of grief or the stages of bereavement. And I realized that I think this is a necessary part of the habituation process. And there's different points of time during the habituation process that you may experience one or more of these stages of grief. And I feel like it's very important for us to address that it's completely normal to feel this way. Oftentimes, the response that you may get from another audiologist, ENT, physician is that you just have to learn to live with tinnitus. And it can make you feel as though your feelings that you're experiencing aren't okay. And that was part of the goal of doing this topic, is to let you know that it's okay and completely normal to feel denial, anger, depression, all of these feelings as you're going through the process of learning to manage and live with tinnitus.
5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. For tinnitus, the first stage, denial, is common to experience. And here are the questions that can often accompany it. How could this have happened to me? I always protect my hearing. Why am I developing tinnitus, this ringing in the ears? I don't listen to loud music. How could this be happening? I have a healthy lifestyle. I didn't do anything wrong. How is this happening? Why is this happening? Is this really happening to me? Maybe it will go away quickly. Maybe this is not something to worry about. And that stage can last days, weeks, sometimes a bit longer. We do have patients who come to us at Treble Health and tell us, I am healthy. I wasn't expecting this to be really bothersome and last for a long time, but now it's been a few weeks, or now it's been a few months, and now I need a professional to help guide me to improve it. So that denial piece is something to be aware of, right? These are psychological processes where understanding them while you're going through them makes it easier. Then it's less of a crisis, high anxiety, individual confused state. And it's more of, okay, I'm on this rocky road, but I have a guide map and I know what to expect. Denial being the first stage, we want you to know that some cases of tinnitus do get better very quickly. Others take more time. So use the tools you have and try to be proactive and promote what we call in the medical field early intervention, on taking the right kind of actions early, seeking professional consultation, using sound therapy, understanding the psychology of tinnitus. Try to do that as early as possible and get over that denial stage.
Another important part about the denial stage is sometimes you've done all the medical testing, all the workups, and you found out that, physiologically and physically, there's nothing wrong, nothing that can be medically linked to the onset of your tinnitus. And some patients continue to hold on to the fact that they still believe that there's something physically that has caused their tinnitus. So it's important to start to accept and try to move away from the denying of all the tests and the workups that you've had, because focusing on that is going to inhibit your ability to move through all these different stages and to move through the habituation process. The second stage is anger. And it's very normal to feel angry towards what you feel your life is currently like as compared to what it used to be like. It's also very normal to feel angry about a situation that you think may have brought upon tinnitus. And it's also normal to just feel more angry in general. So you might feel angry that you're experiencing tinnitus, but maybe your partner isn't, and you both maybe went to the same loud, noisy environment, a few weeks ago, or maybe you both had some similar experience, but you're the only one that seems to be bothered by the tinnitus. So feeling angry is a completely normal part of the 5 stages of grief as we experience it alongside the presence of tinnitus.
I'll add some other things to that. There's some anger in the tinnitus community about why is there not a cure? Why does the medical field not have a solution for this? Why does my ENT doctor not care about tinnitus? Of course, some ENT doctors are great at helping patients with tinnitus. Others are not. All the doctors care about you, but sometimes they don't have the right education or training on what they can do. Yet still, it's common to experience anger at the medical professionals that didn't or couldn't help you, at the research community that hasn't found a solution to this. And hey, we're right there with you. We want every doctor to be an expert and helpful in tinnitus. We want the research and medical community to have better solutions for tinnitus. Being angry right now won't change those, and it won't make those really redirect their course anytime soon. So it's okay to be angry, process your anger in a healthy manner, and then move on to the next and third stage of the 5 stages of grief for tinnitus, which is bargaining. So bargaining is saying things like, well, if I take these herbal supplements for a month, then maybe things are going to get better and I won't ever have to worry about this again. Or maybe if I just listen to sound therapy through AirPods for a few weeks, then this won't be an issue anymore and it will get better. What if I start doing this or that? Then maybe my tinnitus will just get better. If I stop listening to music, if I stop going to loud places, if I stop being around loud noise, then my hearing is going to be fine and it's going to recover. That's hopeful thinking and not based in science or facts on what the professional community knows will help you. We know that the tinnitus process for those who have bothersome tinnitus typically takes months to reduce, not days, not weeks. Now, using herbal supplements and expecting that to quickly reduce the sound or silence your tinnitus, that's inaccurate thinking. And we don't see that as helping patients with tinnitus consistently. So be careful of this bargaining, this mental bargaining of, almost your mind convincing itself that things are going to get better quickly without much time, energy, investment, whatever it may be. That's something to really keep in mind. Now let's switch to transitioning from that bargaining stage of going back and forth, the mind almost tricking itself into setting into the reality of having tinnitus. Dr. Michelle, please take it away.
I'd like to just add one other point of the bargaining stage. Oftentimes we start to compromise. So we say maybe we're not going to do certain things because we think that that's going to exacerbate the tinnitus or make it worse. And while we start doing that as a way of protecting ourselves, it inadvertently reinforces the importance of tinnitus in our mind and can be more harmful. It's better for you to continue to live your life, do the things that you enjoy, try to continue to do all of those activities rather than trying to cut out things that once brought you enjoyment just because it may ultimately help your tinnitus. Because most of the time, I would guarantee that it's not going to improve your tinnitus just because you stop doing something that you once enjoyed. The 4th stage of grief is depression. So extreme sadness over the loss of quiet, for example, the loss of peace, the loss of relaxation that maybe you once had, the loss of your ability to do something that you may have enjoyed before, like read peacefully. Sometimes this is also related to the loss of sleep that one may feel or the loss of appetite as a result of going through this acute stage with tinnitus, or even the uncertainty of the future, not knowing how tinnitus is going to impact you in the long run. And these feelings, while normal, are ones that you want to try to change and alter. Remember that it's important to focus on each day. Each day is a new opportunity to learn how to adapt and change the way that you feel and think and behave towards tinnitus, and brings you one step closer to habituation.
The 5th and final stage of grief for tinnitus is acceptance. This is where we want you to be. This is the last stage because from here, you're in a healthy place. Psychologically, in terms of the brain, how it functions, if I'm resisting something, it tends to persist. If I'm resisting tinnitus, pushing it away, trying to cover it up, trying to convince myself that it's not a real thing, that it's going to get better quickly, brush it to the side, it tends to persist and be more bothersome longer. Accepting tinnitus does not mean that you're becoming friends with it. It does not mean that it's a positive thing in your life. It means you understand there's nothing to do that can quickly change it. It means that you're training your brain that this sound is not as much of a threat or something to resist or move away from as it once was. That in and of itself helps calm the part of the brain called the limbic system, which is this emotional center that keeps tinnitus at the forefront when it's categorized as a threat, a danger, something that may be threatening. Using acceptance is not giving up. Using acceptance is helpful because you're accepting the reality that this is likely a process of habituation, not an immediate fix or a quick solution. With that in mind, practice acceptance wisely and do what you can. Accept what you can't control, which is the loudness or the pitch of tinnitus in the moment, but double down on your actions and your behaviors and your controlling of your thoughts that can allow you to habituate and reduce the signal over time, because the brain can defocus from this. That's what success is with tinnitus.
The stages of grief can happen out of order. So you don't have to move through all of these from denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. You may feel some of these and you may not feel others. You may also start to go back to a stage that you've already been in before at a different point of your recovery process. And that's okay. Just remember that what you're feeling is important and it is a part of getting to the habituation endpoint with your tinnitus journey. And we want to validate your feelings that you're experiencing, because oftentimes you do feel as though you're in this alone, and it's okay to feel angry, depressed as you're going through the process of learning which tools are best for you to help manage your tinnitus.
And let us know in the comment below which stage you are in currently. These stages again are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. This is Dr. Ben and Dr. Michelle with Treble Health. We have telehealth online services for tinnitus. You can find us by searching for Treble Health on Google. Thank you so much, Dr. Michelle, and everyone who's watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.